Be the Talk, episode 248, featuring John Greenwood. Welcome to Be the Talk. We go behind the talk 7 days a week for tips and techniques to help you change the world. I'm Nathan Eckel, and a talker myself, I'm interviewing others who change the world with their talk. You can too, even if you've never given a talk before. Let's get started with today's show. We are live with John Greenwood. John, are you ready to talk?
I am. Absolutely.
John Greenwood's passion drives him to find opportunities to develop himself and others. John spent the last 8 years leading teams all across industries, and it took him several years to discover the center of his own passion, growth and improvement. Once he did, he wanted more. John Greenwood, welcome to the talk.
Thanks so much, Nathan. Glad to be here.
So your talk is called Passion, Not a Product. It's all about the front end, what we bring to the table, the mindset of passion. And it tends to produce more passion that people might misunderstand to be an outcome instead of an input. Please, John, take us behind the talk.
Absolutely. So I tell a little bit about my story in the talk. I reached a point in my career where I was dissatisfied. I was really struggling with my work, and I did a great job. I was helping veterans be able to buy homes. I was doing credit consultant for free. So it's a real good, feel good job. And I came to work not feeling good. And I was like, this makes no sense. What's going on? And I was at a leadership conference. I was listening to these people talk about passion, and all these companies talk about bring your passion to work, and we want passionate people. And I was like, this is great. I have no idea what you're talking about. It didn't make sense. And so I started really thinking about it, and I was like, well, what products am I passionate about? You know, I don't like this and I don't like that. Well, I kind of like this. You know, does that mean I'm passionate about it? And it just seems so confusing to me.
John, let me jump in right here because I want to unpack that a little bit. So what you did credit counseling or financial counseling of some sort. Was this an industry conference? Was this a personal growth conference? Or was this like a company or credit union type specific conference?
It was part of the LeaderCast conferences.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'm familiar with that. Great conference.
Conferences. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic speakers. But I just wasn't connecting with some of these talks about passion because I was struggling to understand it. I didn't really feel it the same way that they were talking about it.
Yeah, well, and that's easy to miss because it by default, passion is one of those things we think it's a result. It is a result. It's a result of passionately achieving something or pursuing the achievement of something. I'm seeing a theme here today with all the interviews that I'm doing. So back to you, John.
Yeah, so I started to dig in deeper. I was talking with friends. I had other friends who were having similar issues. You know, when you read a lot about passion, people tell you quit your job and go pursue your passion. And I'm like, well, I'm a family man. That's not a possibility. I have to have income. I'm not really entrepreneurial. I don't want to start my own business, but I do want to help other people. And so I had to figure out, how can I do this all connected together? What's my venue to make this happen? And that's when I started realizing, well, passion isn't this product. It's not the thing that you love in life. You know, you take your iPod, you aren't passionate about your iPod. You have a passion in your life that pushes you and makes you go further than you would do anywhere else. You know, and some things in life we don't put a lot of effort in, let's be honest, right? And that's okay. Those aren't what drive us. But there are other things, if you really think about it, things that you do that to other people make absolutely no sense. Why would you do that? You know, I left my job recently to go pursue my MBA. I'm at Vanderbilt University. I love it.
Great school. Congratulations,
it's
John.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, I'm in my second year, and I am so happy with the decision I made. You know, I've really learned. I've really grown. It's worked out very well for me. But I left a paying job I was doing very well for myself. That was guaranteed. You know, I wasn't going anywhere. The company wasn't going anywhere. And I said, I'm going to leave all that behind. I'm going to stop making money for 2 years so I can go improve myself. And people I were talking, I said, well, is that really the best idea, John? You know, you're doing well. You're really young for your age. You're in this great career. And I said, yeah, but I'm not growing enough. I haven't felt enough improvement these past couple of years. I've got to push myself harder. And I don't think I can do that anymore here. I think I've reached my limits here. I've got to push past that. And so that's really, you know, for me, that's it. Everything I do is about this growth. It's about this improvement. And if there's not growth or improvement and opportunity, there's no point to me. And so when I talk to other people, my wife, to her, it's all about helping others. Like she goes above and beyond. And it's a great thing that she does because she helps me and she supports me in everything I want to do. But for her, if it doesn't help other people, she doesn't do it. So, finding those things, those drive. Yeah, go ahead, Nathan.
John, I'm kind of intrigued by this whole piece because it sounds like if you can take us back to this, conference that you were in, and at that time, and perhaps for a year or two or longer afterwards, you were still in this job that was a, responsible, good job, and you weren't in the, day job to dream job or whatever people say camp. And right now you're retooling up with your MBA. You got the option to be able to take a little bit of time off, which is wonderful. But what I love about what you're talking about, you're getting an MBA right now. You're not, quitting your job to just do an entrepreneurial thing, which a lot of people do. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's a new perspective that I don't always hear. So what was going through your mind? How did you bring that passion back into your J job, which maybe it wasn't the cherry sundae with the cherry on top or whatever, but you were able to plug away, pay the bills, advance your family's goals, all of that. And then in a couple of years, make a measured decision. I'd like to hear what caused you to re-engage with your passion in a job that is more of a traditional job. And then I'd also like to hear what criteria did you and your wife use to pursue the MBA and to take time off of work or change jobs or do that. I'd like to hear both.
Absolutely. Well, starting off, the initial thought that kind of sparked all this was listening to Steve Wozniak. He's just an amazing guy.
He is.
But when he talks, they kept asking him these questions about his leadership, and he kept bringing it back to the same thing over and over again. And at first I thought he's not listening. And then I realized, no, that's him. That's his passion. That's his drive. Everything he does is based on this desire to build things one piece less, one bit better than anybody else can.
I mean, he's really a bit of an artist. He's a geek. Absolutely. He's a tech guy, but he's like a philosopher. He's a little bit of, he's like an artist in terms of this beautiful minimalist philosophy that he's had. And I've heard him talk at length on that. And the way I agree with you, the way that Steve Wozniak describes it is the most fascinating thing. Even if you're not a geek, it's amazing to listen to.
Everybody can relate, I think. And I absolutely love hearing him talk. But yeah, it brought me back to this. Okay, so he's passionate about building these things and doing it better, improving over and over again. And I was like, well, I like improving, so maybe that's my passion. And it didn't quite click. But what I did is I went back to my manager, actually, and my manager had known for, probably about a year or so that I'd been disengaged from work. It was nobody's, oh, wow, really? I didn't know. No, it was very obvious.
Hard to fake it. That's part of what I'm digging for. I'm trying to find out how did you fake the passion? You can't fake the passion.
You can't fake it. No, you fail if you try and fake it. You just look terrible. It's inauthentic completely. And so I started talking with her actually to get a little 360 review on myself. So what's actually going on with me? What have you observed? Where do you see me get the most excited when I'm here? And through conversations with her, she's like, really, it's about when you have a chance to improve things. Yeah, you like doing that, but it's more about when you have a chance to do it, to think about it, to process it, to develop it. And I was like, that's interesting. It's not just fixing a problem. It's got to be more than that to me. And so I started thinking more about that. I was like, okay, well, how do I make this more of my everyday life? What can I do to really dig in and to learn and to grow? And I brought it to her and I was like, I want to do this. I want to be more engaged. I want to do more. I want to learn more. I want to grow more. I understand that's not my job title. I'm not going to stop doing what I need to do for my job, but I want to do it in addition. What can I do? And she was very supportive. She came up to me and said, okay, here's an extra project I want you to work on. Here's something I think you'll enjoy. And I was like, okay, whatever. Sure. I'll take a look at it. Right. I'm at that point. And I took a look at this work and I was like, there's an opportunity here. I can learn so much. The department can learn. We can grow together. We had gone through the Strengths Finder to give you a little background.
I love Strength Finder.
Fantastic. It gave us
responsibility, input, et cetera, et cetera.
So I'm a little more on the learning growth. You got if I remember correctly, I'm high on the achievement. I've got to have that check mark list to do. And so, we were making check marks and whatnot, but I was talking with her about these strengths, and I was like, we haven't done anything with this since we talked about it. Maybe I can help us to do more. And I started creating a curriculum, actually, a learning curriculum for how can we as a team learn and grow more together using this base language that we've already had. And so that was my first project that I took on, and I ran with it. I created this curriculum I use now. And I'm hoping to keep developing it to make it into something other companies can use in the future. But really that taught me, hey, I can love what I'm doing and I can do my normal job. And then now that I've got this, I said, okay, so how can I apply it to the day to day? I've got these side things going on. I started becoming more engaged. I was trusting more. I was actually being more productive, which was a miracle. I don't understand how that time math works out. But then I started looking at my day-to-day job and I was like, okay, what am I doing? Well, I'm helping other people. Okay. Well, that's great. But what else am I doing? Well, I'm changing people's lives. So I'm improving their life. Okay. That's great. I'm helping them learn. Okay. Yeah, but I'm really doing it for a cause. So how can I go past just this cause and get them to the point where they're actually growing as a part of the whole process? And so I changed the way I was consulting my veterans. I stopped talking about just do this and come back to me. And I started talking about here's what you need to do. Here's why. And I'm going to help you not just improve your day to day to get to this point of becoming a homeowner. I'm going to help you figure out how do you reach the point where you're in a better lifestyle financially. You asked me, how did I decide what I was going to do? So after this period, I actually went through at my company for another 2 years. That extra engagement, that extra opportunity to learn and to grow carried me. It really helped me and I learned a ton. But I reached that point where I was like, okay, I need to be able to push past this. So my wife and I started talking. I had a mentor, an amazing man who had run his own company in the past, done some entrepreneurship. And I knew at that point I wasn't interested in entrepreneurship. My dad did that. It just wasn't my thing. So I was like, how can I do this inside of a company? And as I was talking to different people and my mentor, an MBA came up and I was like, I don't want to quit my job. I don't want to go make no money. That doesn't make sense. But the more I started to look into it, the more I started to talk with people who had done it. I started to research, what do people actually come out with at the end? I realized they came out with growth. They learned so much and they were really developing themselves throughout this process. And so that's the criteria I made. I said, okay, I don't want just 3 letters. I'm going to do this full time. I'm going to dive in 100% dedicated to it. And I'm going to find a school that's focused on how can I develop my passion in their school and how can I develop their school using my passion. And I found Vanderbilt was the perfect fit for what I was looking for.
Love it. We've been talking with John Greenwood. His talk is called Passion, Not a Product. And in just a moment, we're going to dig on the flip side of how he prepared and performed his recent talk. We'll see in just a moment for the Blitz Round. People ask, how could I start a 7-day-a-week podcast? It's because of what I've learned from my mentors. Some of the best mentors in history aren't around anymore. They've left hours of one-on-one mentoring behind in their books. Each month at Classics on Tap, I record a new chapter from a classic business book to help you make a difference. Download your first chapter at classicsontap.com. And we're back with the Blitz Round. I'm going to ask a series of either-or questions related to the preparation and performance of John's talk. John, you ready?
I'm ready.
Did you apply or were you invited?
I applied, definitely.
Are you a memorizer, improviser, or a blender?
I'm a blender.
Did you, when you walk out on stage, did you have nerves or were you in the zone or neither or both?
So I kind of have a theory that everybody gets this energy when they get on stage and it either is nerves or it comes out in their presentation. I'm definitely the latter with the energy coming out and just feeling so excited to be on that stage.
So what's a tip, tool, or technique that helped you?
So I'm very formal in my practices so that when I get up there, I don't have to worry about what words come next. I know exactly where I'm headed And so there's a little fluctuation in there. And so I don't stress about every word being perfect. I stress about making sure that my points are clear.
John, what was the most unexpected, strange, or just plain weird thing that happened during or right before your talk?
So there was a snowstorm the day of when I was coming to this area in Wisconsin. So yeah, that kind of threw things off a little bit. I was a little worried about whether the weather would hold us down.
Well, we've been enjoying the Blitz Round with John Greenwood. His talk is called Passion, Not a Product. If you want to watch that talk, you can go to our show notes page at BeTheTalk.com. You can also connect with John over at his LinkedIn profile at BeTheTalk.com. We will also have a link for that profile as well. And in a moment, we will be right back for the 10-second final word of advice for Talk Universe. Everyone wants to change the world, but not everyone knows the first step. Before you can change the world with your talk, it has to be selected. So grab the templates, timelines, and tools that I use to get my talk selected at BeTheTalk.com. And we're back with the final word of advice. What is it, John?
Don't give up. No matter what happens, no matter how difficult it is, don't give up on your passion.
All right, Talk Universe, don't give up on your passion. John Greenwood, thank you so much for coming on the talk today and sharing your wisdom with Talk Universe.
Thank you, Nathan. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for listening to Be the Talk. For tips and resources to help you change the world, go to BeTheTalk.com. See you tomorrow.